Good morning and hello everyone. Welcome back to Byte&BrewPune. So today we are going to cover about incident management. It is one of the main part of the services practices provided by ITIL V4. So we will be talking about this ITIL incident management. So on incident management, we are going to cover few topics which is related to completely incident management. So what is an incident? We will discuss the 8 flow step workflow. Some questions we will discuss about incident management so that it will be easy for us to understand and work on. So guys, we will be starting with this. What is an incident? So an unplanned interruption to service or reduction in the quality of service can be considered as an incident. So try to understand that anything which breaks what you are using already in your organization, so that break or that interruption is actually considered as an incident. So whenever you are working on any of the incident, you need to be careful that what it is happening and what has happened exactly, so that you will be able to understand. So we'll take some few examples from industries, what kind of concerns can be considered as incidents. So just try to understand that, and we will see what are the incident and how they can be handled. So first example, email server is down, complete outage, no one can send or receive any email. It could be an incident, so which is stopping all the company employees to send or receive any kind of email. So this could be an incident. Website loading slowly, degraded quality is still running but unusable. So you are not able to work on any of the web applications, maybe whichever website is not loading properly. Degraded quality is there, you are not able to complete your work on time. So this could also be an incident. Third, printer not working, single device failure affecting a team. So suppose a team or an office is using a single printer for their daily needs, and if it is not working, it could be considered as a incident because people are having a problem. People are not able to understand that why it is not happening. So this could be an incident. Laptop wouldn't start, user completely unable to work. So this is an incident which is impacting to one user, and he or she is not able to work on his laptop. So they it is a kind of incident for them which IT or support team needs to check. So these are the guys a proper definition of an incident, and these are some samples of an incident which happened unplanned and which impacts your work or your team's work or your office impact business is impacted. This could be considered as an incident. So we will try to understand this whole scenario within a hospital analogy, and we'll try to make you understand that how an incident is coming up and what how you have to deal with this. So now, suppose hospital accident and emergency wing is there. So patient arrives, someone who is having an accident or something, and then your emergency department reception is there. They talk to them, they triage that patient to the nurse, and then doctor treats patient and patient goes home. So this whole thing is having a procedure or a process, that this is what the sequence they have to go. If they are not following this sequence, then there will be a problematic situation, and then the chances are or the results are that patient might die or might feel some different issues which has came because of some emergency. So considering all those things, similarly we are going to talk about the incident. So if you are having a IT incident management which is properly set up and which is there in your organization, you need to understand and set up a process for that. So suppose a user reports an incident, so you must have some ITSM tools which is used for recording those incidents. Then service desk is sitting over there, so it is kind of emergency reception. They receive all your tickets, all your concerns in their bucket, and then they identify that okay, what kind of issue this particular user is facing, and then they will dispatch or they will start helping to the user depending on the concern or the issue. So what is that prioritization? Then comes a second term, Prioritization is what they need to prioritize the incident. So when we talk about prioritization of the incident, what does that mean, guys? So it is like you can't take all the incident with the same priority and work onto them. Why is it so? Because there are times when you receive plenty of tickets full in your bucket, which is coming in and which is there for you, and it is creating a problem for you, right? So you will not be able to work, or you will not be able to understand those things or handle those things properly. So you need to prioritize the incidents. Okay, so suppose if someone's laptop is locked, it could be considered as a low priority ticket because it is happening with one user. Maybe he or she is not very much important for the, obviously everyone is important, but the job they are doing, maybe it is not going to impact the actual business of that company. So it can be taken as with the lower priority. If suppose there is a plant or there is an office and internet outage is there which is impacting the complete organization, then it would be prioritized as a severe ticket and people can work accordingly. So we'll talk about the priority in the coming few minutes, but still prioritization is a major process which a service desk agent needs to follow. Then comes resolver team fixes issue. So what is that? Resolver teams. So like doctors are there. Similarly, we have resolver teams. So it may be your service desk who's resolving it. It may be someone now from your L2 team or L3 team who are having more knowledge and more access, and they are working on the ticket. And then afterwards, once the issue is resolved, service desk or the team who has resolved that, they communicate to the user and says that, okay boss, your issue is resolved and now you are good to go and you can work onto it, and then incident gets closed. So this is a kind of simple analogy comparison so that you can be able to understand what happens with incident, what happens with uh, this kind of issues which comes in picture. So similarly we will understand the further topics of this incident management. Moving to the next slide. So this is that 8-step incident management workflow where we will be trying to understand that how incident comes in and how we have to handle that. So we'll go one by one from detection to closure. Every steps matters. So every steps matters when we say that it is a kind of philosophy which we need to follow, which we need to address or adhere. If we are not doing so, it will create a kind of problem for us, and you will not be able to handle the conditions more maturely or efficiently. So just we need to understand. So we'll try to understand this one by one and one step at a time. So the first step, it is like identify, alert raised. So one user is receiving or having some kind of issue. What they did, they used the ITSM tool or the tool ticketing tool you say, and they raised a kind of ticket. Now they are aware of that they are facing some kind of problem, and they just raised an incident. Second, what happened? They log it, record that incident in ITSM. So now don't get confused from step one and step two. It is identify and log. So logging an incident is somewhat different. Identifying an issue is somewhat different. And as it is says that alert raised. So these are the terms which you will feel or receive in an RT organization when you will be working there on that. So what has happened, guys? It is like maybe you are using some kind of monitoring tool or you got some alert from someone that okay boss, we are facing such kind of issue, and then you are going to log the incident. So when you are logging the incident, you must have some kind of some basic information that which you have to provide on the ticket so that service desk be able to connect with you guys. Then categorize, type and team. So ticket, once it is logged, it received by service desk, and this is the from step 3. Service desk will start working on to it, and they will start checking those things and categorizing the incident, that what kind of ticket it is, and they will start preparing their triage and their documentation, their work notes, their basic information, so that they can be able to push those incidents or dispatch those incidents to the senior team members. Now, as I said that from category or from third step, service desk steps ahead and they start working. So it is like in a situation where a user is able to raise the ticket. Sometimes a service desk team sits and they receives a call from an user and they by themselves create an incident and they provide the ticket number to the user. So from step 1 till 8, service desk is a major part and a person who can handle all those things. Now, step comes fourth, prioritizing. So prioritizing an incident which we were talking about on the previous slide. So prioritizing an incident is a major steps of incident management where a service desk agent or your ITSM tool by themselves, if you have a specific, what you can say, automation on that tool, it automatically identify the priority. If not, then a service desk agent have some criteria depending on which they can decide the priority of the incident. So what are those criteria? It is impact and it is an urgency. So what is an impact? That how this particular incident is impacting your business. It may be the plant is completely down. It may be the internet is completely down. Now urgency. How urgently you can be able to resolve or you need to resolve this issue urgently so that the impact will be less. So these are the two criteria on which service desk agent will decide or identify how to categorize the issues or how to prioritize the issues so that depending on the priority, the teams will start taking the action. Now the fifth step comes diagnose or investigate the ticket. So there are questions, there are questionnaires which are designed by service desk and they can be discussed with the user or the caller of the incident. So what kind of issue he is facing, when he started to face that issue, what was that last time he was able to use everything properly, does he or she has made any kind of changes on their machine. So similar kind of questions or questionnaires a service desk agent will discuss with that user or caller of that incident and they will try to identify all the information from the system from them so that they can be able to help and they can be able to resolve the issue for that particular user. And also these informations can be needed for working on that incident or the issue to troubleshoot it. So this is what the case is and they diagnose it and they will talk to them. Then comes escalate and it is mentioned over there clearly if needed. So escalations are two things which happens. Escalation one, if you're passing the incident to level 2 or level 3, this is also an escalation. And one escalation is there which a user can be able to do. So if user is not feeling or not facing any help or not getting any help, they can be able to escalate that issue to the incident manager, to the service desk manager, to the maybe IT head or operations head, and they can be able to escalate to them. And so in that way, the users can be able to get expedited their issue. And escalating in the language of service desk, it is passing or dispatching the same incident to the higher level team who are having more access, who are having the more knowledge onto technical concern, and they will work onto it. Then comes the seventh step, resolve, fix, and restore. So the resolution is provided, the issue is resolved, troubleshooting has been done, and now people need to resolve the incident. So while resolving the incident, what service does do, they confirm with the user that if your issue is resolved, can you please check, let us know, and we will resolve the incident. And then they will mention all the details that whatever they have identified, however they have helped to that particular user, whatever the technical steps or tasks they have used, to whom they have connected, and everything will be there and mentioned on that particular incident. So further, suppose as a history, if someone is going to check that particular incident, they'll be able to identify all the details, what they have exactly done. So this is what seventh step says. Then on eighth steps, it says close, confirm and document and then close it. Now, it is different. Sometimes some organizations are working on resolution or resolve state. Some organizations are working on closed also. So some are doing it manual close, some are doing by system automatically. So it happens, depends on uh, what kind of environment you have established and how they are working onto it. Goal: restore normal service operations as quickly as possible with minimum impact to the business. So Guys, this is the simple thing that you need to understand. Whenever there is an incident comes in, the first goal of the service operations or IT team is to be resolve or try to resolve that particular issue as soon as possible or within a given SLA or a time period which you have promised to your user, and try to resolve them so that it will impact less number of users, and your system, your working, your production or your operations will be less restricted or worked. So you have to be very mindful with all those three eight steps whatever you are seeing on the screen right now. And if you follow and stick to these particular eight steps or nine steps whatever you are using in your organization, the basic is eight steps. Some of the organizations are having few more, maybe they have designed their system in that way. ITIL gives you that independence of continual improvement, and people do that. So I hope you people are able to understand this very nicely. Moving on the next slide. So incident prioritization matrix. Priority is equals to impact and urgency. So this is also one of the exams topic in incident management which you have to face. So we talk about mostly impact and urgency, and with that we'll try to understand it through a graph. So there are four sections, guys: high, high, and low, low. So in this four quadrants, we will start putting the four priorities, and we will try to understand that how these priorities work. So P1, if there is a P1 ticket, means priority one ticket or a critical ticket or a severe ticket. This is the most important concern or the incident for any of the IT people working in an organization. So if there is a P1, you have to take it on priority. You have to immediately action it, leaving everything in your hand. It is an all hands on deck situation that you have to resolve this issue as soon as possible. Because when you are having a P1 ticket or a critical ticket, it means that there is something which is impacting the whole organization. So like example, whole company email is down. Suppose you are handling the IT for a plant. The whole plant is down because of IT. Your firewall is not working. Your systems are hacked. Your something else has happened. So then in that case, what happens? You have to urgently call upon everyone, whoever is related to that technology and that work, so that they can be able to work on. Moving ahead, we have P2. So P2 is called as high priority incident where the impact is very low, but the urgency is very high. So VIP user cannot log in. Suppose there is a town hall in an organization going to happen within 10-15 minutes, and maybe your CEO or CFO or your director or your VP is going to present something and they are not able to log in on their laptop. So then in that case, the impact of that particular machine is very low, but the urgency is very high because a VIP or a person who is very much on a higher position of your organization and they want to work onto it, and they want to give a very important presentation in the town hall or something, some meetings, and they are not able to log in on their machine. So it needs to be urgently resolved, even though the impact of that particular issue is very low, right? 3, which is called as P3, priority 3 ticket, and it is considered as a medium. So impact of that particular incident is high, but the urgency is very low. Suppose there is an department in an organization which is failing, or suppose we'll take an example: a group of team of members or team is not able to work with their emails or Microsoft applications, and it is not able to do their job. They are not able to use Word documents. They are not able to use Excel files. They are not able to use Outlook. So then, in that case, their team or services team, they have given a workaround that you can use OWA, the Outlook Web Access, and on that they are able to use it. So there is a workaround. The impact is high, but the workaround is there. So the urgency is low, and then in that case, we can consider as a P3 incident or a medium incident. which can be resolved with the time period, whatever we are having in the hand. So once the team members are free, they will start working onto it. But yes, guys, it doesn't mean that medium tickets or low priority tickets are kept silently in your hand and no one will be handling them. So if you have time, if you have there is no P1 tickets, there is no critical issues going on, and you have time, you are sitting idle in your team, you can also take this P3 incident as a priority and you can work accordingly so that your user will be easy and working nicely in the organization. So we'll reach out to P4 incident, which is low priority ticket, low impact and low urgency. Suppose a single user is facing a minor issue, maybe some updates are not happening, maybe something else. So then in that case, what happens, guys? We consider this as a low impact, low urgency ticket, which is P4. And their time period or SLA, which we call it as, it goes with time when you have time, so you can work on this will be the last priority. It will be anytime someone can handle it. If user is free, you are free, you can connect with the user and you can help it out. But there is also an SLA time given to that particular incident which needs to be handled and which needs to be completed to that given particular period of time. Hope you people are getting it what I am explaining right now. Next, two types of escalations are there. Know the difference. The exam will test you on this. So, guys, you need to understand. One is functional escalation, sideways to a specialist. When the current teams lacks the technical skill to resolve the incident, it is passed to the specialist team. Service desk passes a network issue to the network engineering team. Guys, try to understand these things. It is not saying that service desk is poor in some skills, service desk is not able to work onto it, but there are restrictions, guys. Try to understand that. So what has happened, service desk is having a limited access to some of the tools, limited uh, reachability to test those accesses. So they will not be able to, even though they are knowledgeable, they will not be able to or allowed to go on those devices and work onto it. So most of the times they are compelled, they are asked to pass any such issues with higher impacts or urgency immediately to the higher level team so that they can be able to check it and resolve the issues as soon as possible. So this is what has happened. Sometimes if you can see, most of the people will say and they get angry, frustrated by service desk that why you are passing the ticket, why you are not able to handle that. That's fine, perfectly fine. Your frustration is fine as a user. But the point is, those service desk guys are also having some kind of limitations which is not resolved, which cannot be broke because their organization has given them such kind of challenges that you have to pass these incidents to the senior level team member. Now, on the next slide. So, upward management. So, upward management is what, or hierarchical escalation is what, when the incident is too critical, needs extra resources, or requires a management decision, escalate it up. Suppose there is a P1 outage on Friday evening. The IT director needs to be informed and authorize emergency resources because it is on weekend and your resources needs to be go to their home and we need someone from all the teams to sit there and resolve this issue. Until unless it is resolved, it is going to create a serious problem. So such kind of hierarchical escalation needs to be taken place in an organization and people will start working onto it accordingly. So memory trick, just try to understand functional equals to sideways to specialist, hierarchical upward to management. So as you are an incident manager, you need to upward or you need to do an hierarchical escalation. So you will go to your service desk manager, then you will go to your operations head, you will go to your director IT, you will go to your VP IT or something like this. So every organization has a different kind of hierarchy. Functional is sideways. So you are L1 team, then you are passing it to L2 team, then you are passing it to L3 team, and they will start working on it. Next, guys, incident versus problem versus service request. So these are the three topics which you will get into your exams, and also when you will start working onto it, or ITSM processes, you will start working onto it. You will see these terms used regularly, and people are working onto it. So when we talk about incident, so it's an unplanned interruption, as you have heard and listened, and you have seen this video also, that can be called as an incident. Restore service ASAP because this is impacting some of the users or multiple users. No root cause needed. So root cause, when people say that no root cause is needed, they're talking about P2, P3, and P4 ticket. If there is a P1 ticket, definitely we need a root cause. Managed by incident manager. So incident management is there who can work onto it. They will check that how many incidents are there, why it is getting delayed or something like this. So they are handled by your incident manager. Then comes problem. So cause of one more or more incidents can be considered as a problem. So suppose take an example that you are receiving that some of your location, office location, is receiving a similar kind of issue from that particular location, but rest of the locations are working fine. So then in that case, what will happen? There is something which is impacting you and which is raising a similar kind of issue every day. So there is a problem which is resulting to multiple incidents of the same kind. So then problem tickets are tickets which are generated by looking on the history by maybe your incident manager, by maybe your problem manager, and they will start working onto it. So investigate the root cause. These problems involved your vendors also, prevent future recurrence, managed by problem managers, recurring server crash. So why it is happening, why the server is getting crashed. So this is what it is, the problem is. So now people will identify that why the server is getting crashed. They identified that okay, maybe some resources issue, RAM is not working or something else is not happening properly. So they will check and they will replace the RAM or they will do some kind of changes. This can be considered as a problem. Then comes service request. So service request and incident is a bit confusing thing to each other. Most of the times if you are sitting in a service desk team or you are working as an incident manager or service desk manager, you will see users are raising some incident through service request and some request through incidents. So service requests are nothing but something which you want in a planned way. It is not impacting you, it is not impacting your work, but you want something. Like suppose you want some applications on which you want to design something which was not your part uh, of your job role previously. So you raise that, you get some approvals, you get that application, everything is. No services are disrupted. Standard and expected ask, like suppose I am requesting my team to give me a mouse set, give me a headset, give me a new screen for my laptop. So those could be considered as a service request. So now exams, you will be asked with the tricky questions sometimes. Like this is a very common thing, very common practice. Like password reset is a service request, not an incident. Nothing is broken. It is a standard pre-approved process or a request which you are going to do to help that user. Because for requesting a problem, a user is already there. User is having an option to reset their password and it was alarmed to him. He didn't did. He made that mistake because of his own. So now he needs to raise an service request. And once he raises the service request, team will start working onto it. Now workarounds and the known error database. So try to understand that what is workaround and what is known error databases. A temporary fix that reduces or eliminates the impact of an incident without identifying the root cause. As we discussed previously, rebooting a server restores 80% performance until a permanent fix is deployed. So now these kind of things we can do. Like suppose take an example. There is a firewall that goes by the evening. Every day it goes to its memory goes to 90% of utilization. Its processor goes to 95% of utilization. Every day it is happening, and team is receiving a ticket. And network team, what they does, they reboot the firewall every day. So what is happening? It is resolving the problem, but it is not completely going out because every day they are facing similar kind of issues. So what they are doing is they are not providing a proper solution, they are giving it a workaround that if you can reboot that firewall, you will be able to see improvement on the task or improvement on the work. Now there comes another term which is called as known error databases. So it is a kind of record, a library of documents problems that have known workaround but no permanent fix yet, managed by problem management. Think of it as a recipe book for your identity. Look up the fix instead of figuring it out from scratch every time. So as nicely as these things, these documentation can be kept in your system, your teams will be very much easy to resolve the issues, very much easy to handle them, and they can be able to resolve the issues in less number of time or less minutes of time. So what has happened, like no error, known error databases, there are two things. One is KDB and one is called as KB, which is called as knowledge base or knowledge articles in ITSM terms. So what are those knowledge articles? Knowledge articles are nothing but a standard operating procedure for which we call it as a SOP. So SOPs are there, and people use that follow steps. They utilize those steps to work how they have to work on. Knowledge error database is or known error database is somewhat different. So like they have done some problems, they have mentioned on some RCAs on P1 tickets. So they will have a detailed structure of such kind of knowledge base. So the team will goes into the system and they identify that okay, when we have received such kind of X type of issue, we have took this path and we have resolved it by using this, and it will be easy for them to resolve the issues. But if they don't have anything such kind of documents or databases, they will not be able to identify. They'll have to start from scratch. From very beginning they have to check. So in that case they have to kill a lot of time, which is unacceptable in such kind of issues. So these KEDBs and knowledge bases are very much helpful things which helps to an engineer or technical person to understand and to resolve the issues. Next time the same incident occurs, service just looks up the KEDB, applies the workaround immediately and cuts MTTR from hours to minutes. So MTTR is what? Mean time to resolve the incident. So they have given a workaround, user is able to work on it, and then they will give the complete resolution to work onto it. Now we'll talk about the matrices in incident management. So what is that matrices? Matrices are nothing but a kind of measuring criteria. So if you want to say something is good, something is bad, you need to understand that you need to decide some of the key matrices. Okay. So if you are not using that key matrices, you will not be able to measure what you are doing. And then in that case, you will create a kind of problem which is going to impact you a lot. So first is, and this is also termed as KPI, that is key performance indicators, which teams uses. Okay, so KPIs, as we were talking about, so KPIs are nothing but key performance indicators which are used by your managers, your leaders to identify the work of the team. So as long as they are working together and they are there, so in that case, what has happened that they need to identify something. So we'll go with one by one. What is matrices we are using for incident management, and keep it in mind, guys. These are the standard ones. Teams change these things depending on their requirement and they work on it. So mean time to restore the process is average time from incident log to the service restored. So from point A to point B, so incident came in and incident get resolved. This is called as the mean time to restore the service or mean time to resolve the service. Okay. So target as low as possible. You need to follow this. Mean time to acknowledgement, that is called as MTTA. How quickly your team responds to an incident tied to SLA targets per priority level. Like P1 is under 15 minutes, P2 is half an hour, P3 is maybe 24 hours, P4 is more than that. So that depends what kind of incident and what kind of priority you are using. So this is what it is called as mean time to acknowledgement. Sometime it is called as response SLA, or in terms of SLA it is called as response SLA, which like we have fixed that under SLA under 15 minutes you have to respond if you are getting a P1 ticket. So this is called as your response time of that particular incident, right? So now we regularly, when we work on incident and we talk about the incident, we regularly hear this term called as SLA, which is service level agreement. So guys, We have heard usually to all of the agents, to all of the managers and the team members saying that SLA is breached. SLA breach ho gaya. SLA breach ho gaya. So this is a wrong term, but it is created in such a way that people say that SLA breach ho gaya. So what is that? SLA is breaching an SLA is what? SLA is nothing but a kind of document which is called as service level agreement, and where you promises to your client that within given period of time we will be able to resolve. So SLA is an agreement. The thing which is getting breached is you are breaching the time you have promised to the user. So try to understand, this clarification I am giving you just to understand the concept. So people says SLA breach, SLA breach. SLA is not getting, SLA is getting breach obviously because it was mentioned on your document, but the thing timing is getting breached. You are missing it. You are responding one incident or P1 incident on its 16th minute, not below the 15 minute. You are taking more time to that, so that you are breaching that time. Third, incident recurrence rate, IRR. How often the same kind of incident repeats? High recurrence equals to problem management needs to investigate it. Trending downwards, so it needs to reduce. We don't need to get the same kind of incident every day or every hour. So we need to reduce that incident recurrence rate. Then comes first contact resolution, FCR. Percentage of incidents resolved without escalating to the higher team is called as first contact resolution. It should be more than 80% always, which says your service desk team is very much well aware of that they are able to resolve the 80% of the tickets which is coming into your organization, right? Now we will talk about some questionnaires, guys. Some questions which is coming in, and what kind of questions you will get in the organization, so that you will be able to understand. So first question we are having, which of the following best describes an incident in ITIL 4? So a request from a user for information or access to service. No. The underlying cause of one or more incident, it could be called as problem. A change that needs to be assessed, authorized, and scheduled, it should goes under a change management. So the option B is there, which is called as an unplanned interruption to a service or reduction in quality, right? So that we call it as change. And I'm trying to explain it to you guys because all the options are a term for other things. So A is service request, B is C is problem, D is change, and B is incident. Know all four definitions cold. The exam will mix them to confuse you, right? Second question. So prioritization. 200 finance user cannot access the business critical database. How should this be prioritized? Now, low, only one department is affected. Medium, workarounds may be available. Priority depends on when the incident was logged. No. Now you have to understand that 200 finance users cannot access the business critical database. So means what? Anything which is more than 10 users, consider that as a priority of an incident. So it should not be low, medium, or something. It should be a high priority incident. Based on this high impact and high urgency, you have to create a critical incident, right? So impact 200 users, urgency, finance cannot operate equals to P1. So time of logging never determines priority. D is a classic wrong answer. Now, service desk agent cannot resolve a network incident and passes it to the network team. So what does that mean? That says that hierarchical escalation is not working over there. Managerial escalation is not happening there. So it's a functional escalation which that agent is doing. It is passing that incident to sidewise to the senior team member. Now we have question 4. So the same incident has occurred 15 times in the past months, which practice should investigate this. So now it will be obviously problem management. So repeated incidents we are receiving for the same issue, it could be considered as a problem management. It is not an incident management, change enablement, neither service request management. Question 5. So what we got, a user called the service desk requesting a password reset. How should this be classified? Incident, the user cannot access the system. Problem, it could affect other users. Change, it modifies access rights. Not at all. It should not be an incident, as I have explained you, that it is already there is a options opportunity. The user gets to reset their password. They haven't did that. It is not a problem because it is not going to come. Every company is having a policy of resetting their password within 60 to 90 days. So it could not be a problem. Change, it modifies access rights. Not at all. Everything you will have in the past is have you will be having the same after resetting your password. So it should be a service request. It is a standard pre-approved request which a service request can be done. Now, three things to remember. Everything you need to answer incident management questions on your exam. So now understand these things. Incident equals to unplanned interruption. Any unplanned disruptions or quality request. If it was planned, it is not an incident, as I have explained it to you. Priority is equals to impact and urgency. You need to understand that what priority you are going to decide for a particular incident. Incident versus problem versus service request. You have to understand that very much clearly. If you are not understanding that, you will be creating a problem for yourself and you will not be able to identify the issue. Okay. So this is what today's topic we have covered, guys. And now we want you to go through with all those things. Get a lot of questions, comment me, I'll answer you. And subscribe my channel for more ITIL lessons. And next topics we will try to cover on problem management, and we will discuss more about problem management in coming future time. Thank you very much, guys. Thanks for helping me and supporting me. Uh, I request you all to like and subscribe. If you have some better suggestions, please go ahead and give it to me so that I'll be able to understand that and change as much as required. Thank you very much, guys. Have a nice day ahead.